7 times when people's homes felt like the unsafest place. Stranger or spirit. There are very few times when the internet comes together and agrees that something is distinctly paranormal. Most of the time, the explanation is disappointing. It's a bug, dust, a trick of the camera, staged footage, or what have you. But the video you are about to see has been analyzed by thousands, and no one, absolutely no one, can find a suitable explanation. The video itself is pretty straightforward, but entirely terrifying nonetheless. The user who posted the video claims that the security alarm in her home had to be set off, and when they reviewed their footage, they found something that sent them into pure panic. You can clearly see an apparition walking very slowly across the frame. This isn't the first time the couple has dealt with paranormal activity in the house either, with everything from disembodied voices and items moving on their own accord. But when the couple saw the first tangible evidence of their potential haunting, the two of them were so afraid that they had to sleep in a hotel for a few days, just to build up the courage to return. So, what do you make of this? Did someone actually manage to fool hundreds of thousands into believing they were being haunted? Or is this the real deal? Possessive ghost. This next video will have you second-guessing everything you thought about ghosts. Most of the time, it's a seemingly harmless apparition or a strange, disembodied sound. Creepy? Yes, but altogether pretty harmless nonetheless. And what happens when the paranormal gets violent with a child? That's the case for this next video, as a mother is recording her toddler learning how to use the TV remote for the first time. Her intentions? To send the video to her parents. When the video begins, the child is behaving very strangely, but children often do, so nothing strange here, right? But the longer the video goes on, but things become even more terrifying when the remote is suddenly pulled right from the child's hands. You can actually see the force of the pull as it was actually yanked and then pulled back by the child. A lot of people are able to make out the voice of a woman at the end, saying, "Come to play." But it's too difficult to tell exactly, so it's difficult to know what happened next. Uninvited guest. You've heard the term nightmare fuel, right? Well, this one might truly take the cake in the nightmare department. There's no doubt about that. The video speaks for itself, and the terror you are bound to experience will leave you shocked. Initially posted to Reddit, a generous Reddit user has taken the video, brightened it, and this is what is being presented to you now. There's obviously a tall, towering figure, with some people joking that it most closely resembles Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter. It can be seen making strange and inhuman movements, dressed entirely in black with a pale, featureless face. The video caused so much uproar on the internet, with people pleading with the OP to call the cops, as they believed he had a real-life intruder. He was adamant that he lives in a gated apartment community with a door keypad, making it virtually impossible that someone could have broken in. So, what does it look like to you? An elaborate hoax or pure, unadulterated nightmare fuel? Angry poltergeist. If this next one is real, it has the potential to be the most insane paranormal evidence out there, no question. Poltergeists are terrifying entities, much more volatile and aggressive than a simple ghost or apparition. There are passive or residual hauntings, and then there are active hauntings, which is where poltergeists like to play. If you've never encountered a poltergeist, count yourself lucky, as they can be an actual physical threat to you and your loved ones. That's certainly the case here, convincing poltergeist evidence ever captured on camera. Now, not much is known about the following video. After dealing with this poltergeist for a while, a man decides he's had enough, so he sets a video camera down on his kitchen table, presses record, and rents a room for the night. He's tired of people not believing him, and now he's got something to prove. The violence the poltergeist displays is so intense, with hundreds of objects being tossed around, doors and drawers opening and closing shut. Luckily, the man wasn't home, or something very dangerous could have happened to him too. Locked away. This story sounds like something out of a horror movie. A girl and her family have been living in this house for all of her life, and they are so badly haunted that it's become second nature to them. She claims that ever since she was a child, she's remembered hearing footsteps. But for 18 years, she and her family have lived peacefully with the ghosts that haunt her home. That is, until her otherwise healthy mother unexpectedly dies under mysterious circumstances, and everything gets much, much worse. After her mother died, her then estranged grandfather moved in to parent her and her siblings. But after the death of her mother, the paranormal activity in the home ramped up tenfold, with many of them now feeling physically sick or waking up with scratches on their arms and legs. Their grandfather gets so fed up with the paranormal activity that he locks up his downstairs room and leaves town entirely. Fast forward 6 years later, and suddenly the key to their locked grandfather's room appears. The girls, along with some of their friends, decide to open up the room and investigate. That's when things take a really dark turn. Upon entering the old room, many of them begin feeling very lightheaded and nauseous.
I just got so lightheaded, oh my god.
Yeah, I know, I got lightheaded as soon as I walked in here.
They are trying to rid the room of dark spirits, but instead of eradicating them, it turns out it just makes the spirits more angry.
Oh, my back's burning.
Initially believing this to be a joke, the friend lifts his shirt.
Stop, you're giving me anxiety.
Oh my god! You're kidding, right? You're kidding.
Whatever this was, one thing's for certain, those kids were clearly not welcome in their own house. Shadow Man. The man in this next video has been haunted by the same 7-foot shadow figure his entire life. Ever since he was a child, he's seen the shadow lurking around doorways, hovering at the foot of his bed, and has even seen the shadow lurking around the woods behind his house. Initially believing he had been suffering from sleep paralysis, until one night he got brave and decided to record his happenings in real time. And what he captured will leave you petrified. The video begins in the dark of night, somewhere around 3 a.m. which, for reference, is where the veil between the living and the dead is at its weakest. He begins to hear strange and unusual hissing, which wouldn't be too terribly abnormal if he had a cat, but unfortunately, he doesn't. The sounds get closer and closer to his ear.
What the f***? This is what I mean. Crazy
Eventually making the man feel like something is breathing down his neck. So he decides to start recording, hoping to capture some of the sounds on video. But he never truly expected what he'd see next. A shadowy figure can be seen and heard, slowly walking up them.
Oh my Oh.
The man quickly moves to turn on the lights because at this point he's terrified, and for good reason. Did this man finally capture the likes of his shadowy tormentor after all these years? You be the judge. In the sheets. What would you do if you found out that you weren't alone when you were sleeping? That's the case for this next one, which involves someone finding out if they've gone to bed with the paranormal. But be warned. What you are about to see is guaranteed to cause you some sleepless nights. A man has been sleeping alone after losing his late wife and begins to notice strange activity happening in their bedroom. He notices sheets moving on their own accord, waking up feeling as though someone is watching him and feeling strange movement across his legs. They've lived in this house their entire lives and have never once experienced anything out of the ordinary until now. He decides to set up a camera to try to see if there's someone or something messing with him while he sleeps. The camera manages to catch what looks like the duvet lifting up entirely, and then what appears to be a figure rising up out of the bed, only to disappear within seconds. Then, at the foot of the bed, the sheets begin to move in a strange, eerie fashion, looking as though something is about to climb in bed with the man. This one is terrifying. There's no question about it. Did the man capture his late wife on camera, or is this something much more menacing?